whatever reason he couldn't check on the night of Pesach, Yivdor B'Yom, he can do it the day. He can do it on the day of 14th. Right? Yivdor B'Yom, Tekef Umiyad, immediately after Tefillah Shacharit. Why? Because before Tefillah Shacharit, a person cannot engage with other things than Tefillah. Right? One could take shower because that is for the preparation of Tefillah. V'chayta v'dira le'or haner, needs to be with Nor Haner, v'rak b'achsadra she'ora rav and sarich bo. Now in the achsadra, in the place like a hallway, in the older days maybe they had more sunlight, or there were places that they had the natural light, right? You don't need to use candle. It's already, candle wouldn't make a difference. So check. Now,
so this is the point with all the lights. If all the lights are on, it's even...
Then the candle would not help.
Right, so but the flashlight shouldn't help either.
Flashlight also cannot help.
Right.
Right. So the point of night and the flashlight or the candle is because it's dark, then you could look under the surfaces much better.
No, but like this room, all the lights are on.
Right.
So now if I have a flashlight, it doesn't make a difference.
Doesn't make a difference. That's why you need to turn off the lights.
But why isn't it better to keep them on?
Because apparently with the candle or with the flashlight, you could see in the corners better. Try it at home.
Okay.
Try it. Let's go. Okay. So Harav Ovadia Yosef in Halichot Olam says, "V'katav Harav shedavcha כשהפתילות מחולקות ומפורסמות זו מזו ורג." Right? So this is talking about when the avura was that they were not all together. When the avura would be all together, right? אם הפתילות נוגעות זו בזו נחשב הכל נר אחד כשר. Wow, חידוש. So if you use a $50 candle, that $50 candle is supposed to have one light. If all of the light joins at one point, that is kosher.
That's kosher.
If it's not one light, if it's like avura that one shoot out here, one shoot out there, then you cannot use. But if all of them become one, then one is allowed. Okay. Halacha dalet Harav ben Ish Hai Halichot Olam says, "Lo yatchil shom melacha ve'lo ochel ad she'ifloch." Don't occupy yourself with any work. Don't start eating a meal until you check. Right? V'ta'ameh be'alma le'echol v'ta'ima be'alma, but tasting or le'echol perot or pachot mekebetza, but having fruits or having something less than kebetza, kebetza pad, less than 50 grams of bread, right? Mutar qodem bedika, you could have less than 50 grams of bread before the bedika. Vegam im yesh lo et qavua limod, right? Lo ilmod ad she'ifloch. Now, pay attention to this. If you have qavua itim betorah, right? After tefillah, you don't do learning Torah. You don't do limud Torah. You first do the bedika, and then you come back and you do your limud Torah, right? Harav Ovadia Yosef Alav Shalom explains, right? Ve'en bodrim le'or ha'avura halacha, right? Says upasul lebedika chametz af b'diavad. Now, if you use a torch, it's pasul. Even on the second hand, b'diavad. מפני שאינו יכול להכניסו לחולים ולסדר, because you cannot take the avura, right, near to the corners, right? You cannot take it, but that's another point of the candle or flashlight, right? by the corners, even though you have a whole room full of light, that light cannot cover the under the table in the corners. Cannot. Right? The orshehu, right? Metira pat. Metira pen. Tifros the also, he's afraid if he's using torch, maybe this would catch fire. And then maybe he doesn't do a good job. Right? Then he needs to do it without bracha next time that he checks. Right? And by the little corners, you need to check. You need one candle. וכן נר חשמלי קטן שאפשר לטלטלו בכל פינה הבית, מותר לבדוק בהם בשעת הצורך, שאין לו נר אחר כשר. Now, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, Alav Shalom says, also flashlight is kosher, but he says the first choice is ner. If you don't have ner, then you could use flashlight. ויכול גם כן לברך עליהם. If you don't have ner, you have flashlight. Can you make bracha on it? Rabbi Ovadia Yosef Alav Shalom says yes. יכול גם כן לברך עליהם. You could make bracha on flashlight. For Bedika. ואין זה דומה לעבורה. Flashlight is not like a torch. Right? וכן מותר לבדוק את החמץ לאור נרות של פרפין. You can use paraffin candles. וכן מותר לבדוק על פי שאין לבדוק בהם לכתחילה. מכל מקום, בדיעבד, אם בדק בנרות אלו, אין צריך לחזור ולבדוק. לאור פתילת הסמל, I skipped one. וכן מותר לבדוק את החמץ לאור פתילת סמל, גפן, הטבולה בשמן. Now, you have semer gefen. You have this semer gefen wool. No, semer gefen is not wool. Semer pishtan. No, gefen is wool, right?
No.
It's cotton. Sorry.
Gefen is a wine tree.
Right. Semer gefen is not wool. That has oil. It has oil, and you can light it. Right? You could use it, right? But you cannot use. So Rabbi Ovadia Yosef Alav Shalom says semer gefen that has oil a little bit to it, atevula b'shemen, that is in shemen, you could use, but you cannot use cheleb shel shuman. Right? אף על פי שאין לבדוק בהם לכתחילה. מכל מקום בדיעבד אם בדק בנרות אלו אין צריך לחזור לבדוק. So this is the difference. The difference is Harab ben Ish Hai Halichot Olam said lechatchila, do not use any candles that are connected, any ptil that is within shemen, right? Chelev you cannot use. What about if you use? Do you need to go back and make another bracha? Rabbi Ovadia Yosef Alav Shalom says no bracha is needed next time. Lechatchila you should not use, but if you use, you don't need to do it. You don't need. You need. אין צריך לחזור לבדוק. You don't need to go back and check again. Right? ואין צריך לכבות את אור החשמל, לדלוק בבית בעת הבדיקת חמץ. Your question, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef Alav Shalom answers, do you need to turn off the lights when you do בדיקה? אין צריך. You don't need to. Very good. You don't need to. Okay.
Ben Sion Safi says to use beeswax, candle from beeswax.
Beeswax?
Something about Kabbalah.
Maybe because devash is din. Beeswax. Maybe because devash is din, you bring din to Rachamim.
I'll look at it again. I saw it like.
You're bringing din to Rachamim. That's the night of Rachamim. That's interesting. Wow. Okay, let's go weiter. Further. Halacha Hey. Odem Habediga Yevarech. Before Bediga, you make this bracha Asher Kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'sivanu al biur chametz. Lefi Shabediga hi sorech habiur. Why biur chametz? Because you're getting rid of the chametz. Va'af al gaf the mitzvah zu hi ba'a mizman lezman. Even though that this mitzvah comes what is the word periodically? Right? It comes from time to time.
Periodically.
Periodically. Right? En mevarechim aliyah she'echianu. You don't make she'echianu on it. This mitzvah doesn't have she'echianu. Mihu katvu achronim, but the achronim, the later rabbanim write, im nizdamen eslo beged chadash or peri chadash. That's what you do. Right? Prepare for yourself a new clothing. Right? New clothing for Pesach. You got suit. You gave it to Chametz. You check the result good. Make the she'echianu on it. Right? For the night of Bedika. Yevarach she'echianu. Say it on a new fruit. And then have kavanah to include this mitzvah of Bedirat Chametz. Bedirat Chametz. And if you forgot, you didn't make bracha al biur chametz, Yevarech calls the man shelo sayem bedira. You are allowed to make this bracha as long as you're not done. Why? Because the mitzvah is nimshechet. The mitzvah is continuing. Right? Ve'im boderim imo bnei habayit. And if the members of family are checking with you, Yevarech hu levado. Right? Only the head of the household needs to make one bracha. Everyone else can help, but one bracha is suffice. And he has in mind everyone to include. One should not talk within the bracha, right? And one could talk that which is needed for the for the purpose of checking, and also one should not talk about other things, right? As long as the bracha is not, as long as the bedira is not done, right? V'yasniya techilat chamesh sheyesh lo la'avur achilato ve'chiper alav kehi. So what he needs to do, he needs to hide the candle, right? Not the candle, the chametz that he needs to use later that should not fall in other places. Okay, now Harab Ovadia Yosef, Harab Hashanam explains. ואסור לכתחילה באכילה או בעשיית מלאכה דחל מחצי שעה קודם זמן הבדירה. So 30 minutes before the time of bedira, one should not eat that which he is not allowed to eat or engage himself with work. 30 minutes. לאכול פירות or פחות מקבצה פת וכן עוגה. That includes עוגה. Right? עוגה cookies. And שיעור קבצה בלא קליפה. One cannot have more than קבצה of cookies. ופירות וירקות מותר. What about fruits? What about vegetable? Mutar. Right? You could have even more than kibetza. V'chen tavshit is not there. It's in Halichot Olam. Also, right, rice. One could have more than 50 grams. You could have tea, coffee, no problem. Right? You could start eating achilah. Right? אף על גב שאין צריך להפסיק מכל מקום ודאי שאם רצה להפסיק תבוא עליו ברכה. But it's better to wait. Better to wait, first do the bedira and then eat. That says, Harab Ovadia Yosef Alav Shalom says, because we want to be zariz. We want to do this mitzvah as soon as possible. Lo ilmod ad sheivduq. Now Harab Ovadia Yosef explains this. What that means. Aval im hitchil ilmod. בהתר, לפי זמן הבדירה, אין צריך להפסיק. ואיסור להתחיל ללמוד הוא דווקא בשעה שהגיע זמן הבדירה, ולא חצי שעה קודם לכך. Now, that which Harab Ben Ish Hai Halichot Olam tells us that it's asur, it's prohibited to learn, is if you have not finished, if you have not started learning. If you are in the middle of learning, no problem. Finish your learning. The only problem is that if the time starts and you start learning, then you could get dragged away with your learning and you forget. They say Chaim Kanievsky alav shalom never did anything in the kitchen. He always stayed away from kitchen, because he was so much into learning Torah. What is his name? I forgot. Harav Meir Eliyahu Shelita, right? He's one of the younger great Rabbanim who is a Baal Teshuvah, but he's a genius. He was saying, right, don't become wife of your wife. What does that mean? In other words, you open yourself to too much helping at home, then when do you have time to learn Torah? Obviously, we need to help our wives, but not too much. Arav Chaim Kanievsky alav shalom, Sar HaTorah, he never did anything in the kitchen because his wife knew that he needs to learn Torah. So one time, the story is said like this. One time, his wife wasn't feeling well, and his wife asked him to make him tea. So he went to the sink, and he opened the kettle, opened the faucet that the water should come in, holding with another hand his sefer. And he got occupied with learning Torah, and the water came to the kettle, and for whatever reason the water didn't go into the sink and overflow and came to the kitchen. And his wife heard the sound of water, and she came and she stopped the water and she said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of the tea. You go learn." You go learn.